Welcome to the first ever Crossbody Corrections, our rebooking series. My name is Evan.
I am Javier.
And this week we are taking a crack at rebooking one of the least popular Royal Rumbles of all time.
It's not a good time, but we're going to
It's not
try
a
our
good
best to
time.
make it one.
That's why we're doing Crossbody Corrections. We saw it was bad. We're going to correct it and make it good. The way this is going to work, Javier and I are going to go and say our rebooking for the Rumble. Of course, there's going to be some other things we need to talk about leading into the Rumble, how that goes out towards WrestleMania 31. But we're going to rebook the 2015 Royal Rumble, and you're going to decide who had the better rebooking of what was one of the worst Rumble shows of all time.
Yeah, top to bottom, so bad. Carried by one match and one match only.
And you ready for my hot take? That match doesn't exist in mine. So, yep. Damn. I gave myself quite the uphill battle for the rebooking, but here we are. All right. So, as a special guest, we also have the draft dime from our draft series, and that's how we're going to decide who goes first. We're going to flip. Javier's going to flip the coin. If I get it right, I'll decide who goes first. If Javier gets it right, he'll decide who goes first instead.
All right, Evan, you ready?
I'm ready. It's going to be tails again. Very excited for that.
It is.
I'm so excited. All right. I'm going to let you go first because I want to have second pick.
All righty then.
Okay. Set the stage for us.
We start the Rumble pay-per-view with that triple threat for the WWE Championship. I want nothing changed about it. I want Brock Lesnar versus John Cena versus Seth Rollins in that triple threat match because it was a hell of a match. I think on the actual 2015 Rumble pay-per-view, it was second to last. It was second to the match, the Rumble match itself.
It was.
Yeah, that was a terrible idea. Kick off the show with it. Get us excited. Give us that banger of a match so that we're happy, at the beginning of this. Give us the good feelings. What that leads to for all of these guys, I mean, Brock's just gonna he's gonna win, obviously, because I'm changing literally nothing. It's the exact same match, the exact same build. Whatever they want to do with it, they can do with it. What it changes for Mania, I would say nothing. I still want that Randy Orton Seth Rollins match. I still want Brock Lesnar in the main event, and I still eventually would like John Cena versus Rusev. Maybe it's their first encounter because. Let's not do that Fastlane match that I think that they had that I don't.
They did have a Fastlane match that we don't need.
We're not doing that. Next up, I don't know why we didn't have a mid-card title match on this pay-per-view, but we absolutely should have. And instead of Rusev defending his United States title, we're going to make Bad News Barrett work a Sunday because he's defending the IC title against two guys who had tag team title opportunities, but shouldn't have because that was weird. It's going to be a triple threat match. We're doing Bad News Barrett versus Miz Dow.
Okay.
And the reason why is because we've got Miz trying to get another IC title reign in his belt because we know Miz is the king of the IC title for whatever fucking reason. And Bad News Barrett the way he's basically winning this match is because of we're doing the story of dissension between Miz and Miz Dow that started pretty much at the Rumble, I want to say. But it's gonna start building here. Miz Dow's gonna cost Miz the match because he wants to win the title, all this other bullshit. It's a solid match. It's not gonna be a technical masterclass. We give him 10-12 minutes, something like that.
What match do you get rid of? What match do you get rid of?
Oh my god, what the tag match that didn't need to happen between Kid and Cesaro versus the New Day. Because that was
on the pre-show.
But it doesn't need to happen.
That's fair.
We cancel the pre-show. No pre-show matches.
Everyone just go have snacks.
Yeah, everyone has snacks. We're canceling the pre-show. So we're putting that on the main card and we're having a good time. Speaking of the pre-show being canceled, we're actually just going to take that tag match from the pre-show and we're going to add it to the tag team title match. And who are the tag team champions? It's the Usos. Triple threat for the tag team titles. Kid and Cesaro versus the New Day versus the Usos. I'm actually going to have the Usos retain because I do not believe that Kid and Cesaro are refined enough in their tag team yet, which is why they held off the tag title switch, I think, until Fastlane.
Yes.
So we're going to do that. The New Day's too new. They're still baby faces that no one likes. We'll have them get pinned by the Usos so that it keeps going with the eventual descent to madness that they had and became heels. It's a hell of a match. I mean, this combination of workers is incredible.
It's a good group, guys.
And we're giving the women some damn time to perform at the Royal Rumble. Instead of that stupid tag match between the Bellas versus Paige and Natalya, we're going to keep the same 4. We're just going to make it a fatal 4-way match. Give me Brie, give me Nikki, who's the Divas champion at this point. Give me Brie versus Paige versus Natalya. All 4 of them in a match together. It's a good combination of workers. Like Brie and Nikki can tease tensions between the 2 of them where like, oh, maybe Brie wants to win the Divas championship. All this other stuff. In the end, Nikki retains because she kind of had to in order to get us to where we need to be later on in the year. So yeah, Paige, hell of a performance. Natalya, hell of a performance all around. We'll give them 12 minutes. Let them go. Let them cook. Something like that. Give women a chance. That way we don't have to do the give divas a chance thing because we just actually give them it.
I can't believe you stopped Stephanie McMahon from inventing women's wrestling in 2016. How dare you?
On that note, we go right into my Rumble match.
All right.
Now, this is extensive because I did some work here because I had to because this match blows.
All right. How do you fix the...
Right. We fix the problem with the Rumble, which was the end of the Rumble,
correct,
by starting with it. The first 2 entrants of the Royal Rumble match for me are Kane and Big Show.
Are they just like waiting for people? Like because they're the authority lackeys? Is that what's happening?
They tease some interaction, but in the end, they shake hands and they wait. Okay. Number 3 is Dean Ambrose. They double team him, but do not get the elimination because Dean Ambrose is a psychopath and survives. Number 4, Dolph Ziggler. He comes out, big babyface pop. We all love Dolph Ziggler at this point in 2015. He's a big babyface guy that we all like. So he's in there, and the Show and Kane still have the advantage because they've beaten down Dean. He's not exactly able to fight enough, but the babyfaces have some fire. They have some life. And then coming out next at number 5 is Daniel Bryan.
Okay, very, very hot start.
We have Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, and Dolph Ziggler versus Kane and Big Show. They're doing great. They team up. They eliminate the 2 big men. We get a huge reaction. The 2 authority goons are out of the match, and we have the 3 probably biggest baby faces in the company at this point all together in the ring at the same exact time. It's great. This is where we kind of fast forward a bit. We get a little bit of the filler in. We get we get Bubba Ray Dudley coming out at number 6, but he's acting more like Bully Ray than Bubba Ray.
Of course you want that.
That's fun. The ring fills up with lesser names. We get surprises like, I don't know, Boogeyman and DDP could still come out. And then we fast forward to number 18, which is when Rusev comes out. Rusev eliminates like 8 or 9 people. Like just all the filler that had come in that time period since the first authority like eliminations, Rusev comes through and he takes them all out. It leaves himself, Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, and Dolph Ziggler in the ring. So there's 4 guys in, and then comes number 19, which is Roman Reigns, which is what happened in the actual Royal Rumble match. He came out in 19. I think 19 is fine for Roman, so I left him in there. He can be impactful. You know, he can do his Roman Reigns power spots, his little flying clothesline thing, his Superman punches, galore, all this other stuff, but it doesn't get an elimination just yet. Then we get a little bit of a run of people, you know, some more fodder, enters the ring, all that other stuff. Let them be fodder for Roman and Rusev to rack up a few more eliminations. Then we get to the end.
Okay.
Where the countdown for 30 is happening. In the ring are Rusev, Roman, Daniel Bryan, Dean Ambrose, Ziggler, Luke Harper, and Eric Rowan.
Okay.
And number 30, Bray Wyatt.
Yes.
We teased some Shield versus Wyatt family stuff because, you know, that was weird. It's like, oh, even though we're not all the same, we're not the factions anymore, we're broken up, do we get together to fight these guys? Those guys have Daniel Bryan. Should we... Harper, Rowan, what's up here?
What's up, guys? We teased
some of that stuff. We teased tensions between Bray and Daniel Bryan. It's all the good stuff. A little bit into the action. Dolph Ziggler eliminates Rusev. That sets up the U.S. title match for Fastlane. I don't think Ziggler wins it, but I think it would be fun to have him in it.
That is a good, fun match to have.
And then eventually it leads to the IC ladder match. That's where Ziggler can be. Bray eliminates Ziggler, which is okay because we like Bray enough as a heel.
True.
And so we can give him the heat of eliminating Ziggler, but we don't hate him for it. Ambrose eliminates Harper because I love everything that they do when they interact with each other, and I feel like that's fun. Roman dumps Eric Rowan because
somebody has to.
Eric Rowan, yeah, someone has to. My final four are Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan, and Bray Wyatt. Here's where the fun happens. Roman spears Bryan. He spears Bray. He goes to spear Ambrose, who catches him with the Dirty Deeds, which is the DDT version of it at this point, I believe, which is a cool little spot. He tosses Roman, but Roman barely hangs on. He skins the cat or whatever the hell. Dean turns. He eats like the high yes kick from Bryan. He comes off the rope, does his little rebound lariat. Bray picks at the carcasses. He's just beating ass, all this other stuff, doing Bray Wyatt things, talking his crap. He tries to dump Dean, no avail. Roman spears Bray again. Ambrose hits Dirty Deeds. Bryan hits his running knee, the Psycho knee, whatever the hell you want to call it, tosses Bray out. So we're happy because Daniel Bryan got the elimination.
That's true.
Roman and Dean are trying to team up on Bryan because they're the two former Shield guys, so they could do that. He fights them off. Eventually, they're hanging around the rope apron area. Maybe Roman and Bryan have gone over the ropes. They're on the apron, all this other stuff. They're fighting. Bryan rams Roman's head off the post, and Dean comes through and messes his grip up. Bryan gets eliminated like Shawn Michaels circa 2010.
The barely holding on.
Yeah, the Batista thing. And instead of Bray Wyatt or whoever doing it, it's Dean Ambrose specifically that does it. What this does, right? We're still going to, I think people are still not going to love it, but it's Dean Ambrose who we like. We love Dean. He's one of the biggest baby faces in the company, so I think we can accept it. And based on what happens next, in the middle of the ring, we get a Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns stare-off. They fight. They go back and forth. They end up on the apron. They're fighting until Roman hits a Superman punch. Dean crumbles, and he's about to fall out of the ring. But not before he grabs Roman, that son of a bitch, and he takes him down with him. And I'm hoping amongst all prayers that this does not end up like Luke Harper and AJ Styles, because they're going to hit the floor at the same damn time, Evan. And the 2015 Royal Rumble match ends with two winners, Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. They're both going to challenge Brock Lesnar. Bryan is pissed. He's going full Shawn Michaels in 2010. He's like, I got screwed, all this other stuff. He's like in Dean's face, and Dean's not taking any of this. So he's like, you know what? You want my opportunity? You can fight for it at Fastlane. Instead of getting Roman versus Bryan, we get Ambrose versus Bryan for that spot. And Bryan wins.
Okay.
So the main event of WrestleMania is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. Seth still cashes in, but he does it on Bryan. Bryan's about to win the match. He's hit Roman with the knees, all this other stuff. We hear the music. He comes down. He hits him with the stomp. 1, 2, 3. He pins Bryan. He breaks the hearts of everybody that wanted to see Bryan have his moment again. It's the heist of the century multiplied.
I like it. I like all of it. I am surprised that you go to a double winner for the Rumble.
I just think that there was no way that people would be satisfied. Like, I want Roman in the main event. I think that match was too good to not have. Okay. But I didn't think that having Roman win alone outright was smart. I wanted Bryan to have the Shawn Michaels type of elimination because it adds a little more of like a heelish edge to his character that I think would have made it fun heading into WrestleMania season. And it's also cool because he could play kind of like that weird little tweener role that he loves doing, like he did in 21. And I think that would have been real nice. And I think if Dean and Roman win at the same time, we're not too pissed about it because Dean Ambrose is at least there.
It's true. So the WrestleMania card is not very, aside from the main, is not very different.
No, honestly, I thought WrestleMania in 2015, the 31, was such a good card for the most part that I didn't want to edit it too much. Instead of Bryan being in the IC title match, we put Ambrose, we slot Ambrose right into that. He actually ends up winning it. Instead of Bryan, we'll have him carry the IC belt throughout the summer or whatever was supposed to happen with Bryan. And we have the Miz and Mizdow thing still happen with the Andre. We have Cena, Rusev. We have Seth and Randy. The women. I'll leave that tag match just because as we now know it, it's AJ Lee's last match. So I think that's like, I don't want to take that away from them. But I would like to give them more time. And yeah, my main event is Roman versus Brock versus Daniel Bryan, which I think is a hell of a match.
That's a hell of a match. All right. I like your approach of like, let's not change it too much, but let's make it better.
Yes.
I took the opposite.
Because I think that we have to be realistic with ourselves here. It's hard to do a complete deconstruction of it because it's just not happening.
Oh, Javier, this is not crossbody realistic rebuilds, my buddy. This is crossbody corrections. I'm fixing it. All right. Two things are true. We don't want to lose the cash in of the century, the heist of the century. But Roman winning the Rumble is terrible. So how do we keep the first and change the latter? We move the cash in to the Rumble. Now, let me back up a little bit. Instead of Lesnar versus Cena versus Rollins, we get Lesnar versus Reigns at the Rumble. Cena's title shot that he earned is done on the first Raw of 2015, which is the same Raw where the Authority take control once again. And because the Authority hates him, they sick Big Show and like Rusev on him, say. He loses that match. Reigns becomes number one contender at the Rumble on the condition that if he loses, he cannot challenge as long as the Authority's in charge. That is what he's willing to trade. At the Rumble.
But the difficulty in that is that he came back in December.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. It works. He's mad at the Authority. Everybody hates. We're trying to get him. The best way to get him to be a babyface is to put him against the Authority properly. Don't make him go for the title. Make him go against the Authority. At the Rumble, Kid and Cesaro versus New Day. That's fine. It can stay. I like it. That's great. We make pre-show. We make Barrett work. We make Barrett have a day. This one I think is interesting. The Authority is looking for who are the strongest people. They've kind of benefited Barrett before, but they've also kind of benefited this other guy named Luke Harper. So they're going to let them fight for the IC title because they want to see who's really the strongest ally. Barrett manages to squeak out a win. He cheats, but he gets the win. Brie Bella versus Paige versus Natalya versus Alicia Fox in a Divas number one contendership match. Won by Paige, because instead of just having this tag match, have a match that is for something. I think that's a good idea. Have Paige win. That sets up a match at Fastlane. AJ Lee can come back at Fastlane. It's great. Miz and Mizdow versus the Usos. I keep this, except Miz and Mizdow win. They should be the tag champs. I think that's fun. I think that's a good time. Give them the tag belts. Lesnar versus Reigns. This is where the cash-in happens. I know it's not the same. I know it's not.
It's not.
It's not the heist of the century. I know that.
Remotely the same.
But Rollins, the whole thing was they were going to give Rollins, we're going to protect him in the Rumble. That was their shot. They're going to make sure he is the Authority's boy. So they're going to make sure that he's protected. And then there just is this opportunity. And you see Triple H come out with Rollins and say, go, 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 go. And then he gets the cash in. He wins the title. He pins Reigns, all the same. It's just at the Rumble instead of at WrestleMania. To the Rumble match, some things I keep. Wyatt being really good. I like that. Keep Wyatt being fucking awesome. Instead of the Ascension having a match against the New Age Outlaws on this card, which makes
that no got so axed.
How about after we embarrass the Ascension, we give them some heat back? There's a nostalgia entrance by Billy Gunn early on, and he doesn't make it to the ring because the Ascension beat the shit out of him as he tries to do his entrance. To continue getting them heat, if you want them to be an actual, heel tag team. When DDP makes his entrance, they beat the shit out of him too. They drag his carcass to the ring. He gets tossed out really or easily by Wyatt. Why not? Daniel Bryan enters around 10. I think that seems like a fair spot for him. Mizdow is in the match with Miz as well and is eliminated by Miz. Like almost immediately. Miz is like, welcome. Hey, so glad you're here. Tosses him out. Miz gets eliminated by a man who is now in the Rumble match because he's not in the world title triple threat, John Cena. John Cena is going to eliminate Miz because anytime they can be mad at each other, I think that's fun.
Yeah.
John Cena is eliminated by another man who has a fantastic run, Rusev. First, Cena manages to eliminate Rusev. This is after Rusev had eliminated a couple of other people. He has a really good run in the middle of the Rumble. Cena manages to eliminate him. Rusev, doing the classic heel thing that we do every couple of years, comes back in the ring, beats the absolute crap out of Cena. Cena is brutalized. He gets dumped out by, let's say, Randy Orton. Randy Orton's in this match. I think that's good too. Is he back from injury at this point?
No, because he got put through the Cinderblock like a few weeks before this.
Well, that doesn't happen in mine. Orton is eliminated after being in since number 15 by Rollins, who is number 30, because that's the thing, is he's still in the Rumble match because that was the spot given to him by the Authority. Because remember, he's their favorite boy. So the final four are Bryan, who entered around 10, Wyatt, who entered early, 3, 4, Rollins, and Ambrose, because Dean Ambrose, of course, should be in this match as well. The last eliminations are Dean eliminating Bray. I didn't go into like the moves or anything, but Dean eliminates Bray, Rollins eliminates Ambrose, and Bryan eliminates Rollins. So Bryan wins.
Isn't Rollins the champion? Why is he here?
Because he already had the spot. They didn't know he was going to cash in, so he still keeps 30 spot. And his whole thing was like, well, maybe I could just win the match, and nobody challenges me at WrestleMania. I challenge me. I win. Bryan wins the match. This sets up a couple things for Fastlane. Fastlane, Rollins loses the title to Lesnar after interference from Orton. Yeah, I'm getting crazy with it. Don't worry, I see your face. Bryan wins a match against an Authority lackey, let's say Kane, to retain his title shot because, Bryan and Kane, Team Hell No. That's fun. Reigns attacks Triple H, setting up their match at WrestleMania 31. Now I know what you're saying. Hey, what did Triple H do at WrestleMania 31? Who did he face at WrestleMania 31?
Sting.
He doesn't face Sting. I don't want that NWO versus DX. I want Sting to face somebody else. Who do you think Sting faces at WrestleMania instead?
Is it The Undertaker?
Of course it's The Undertaker. Why didn't we do Sting versus The Undertaker?
Oh, man.
So, this leads to my WrestleMania 31 card that essentially has Mizdow winning the armbar. He shouldn't lose at the end to Big Show. And then at the end, announcing that he is now no longer Mizdow. He's Damian Sandow. Push that. That sounds great. The IC title match, we took Bryan out of it. Somebody needs to win. It should be Luke Harper. Also, since we took a couple other people out of that match, like Ambrose, there's Barrett, there's Stardust, there's Ziggler. Put Goldust in there so Goldust and Stardust can have a little thing because Goldust is active. They could have done a Goldust Stardust.
Didn't they have a fast lane match?
That shouldn't be it. That shouldn't be it. They did, but that shouldn't be it. Rusev has a match against Cena because they've had some interactions now in the Rumble and things like that. That sets that up. Sting versus Undertaker, Orton versus Rollins remains. Keep the RKO spot. It's magical. I love it. Nikki will defeat Paige and AJ Lee in a triple threat match for the Divas title. You can also have AJ Lee not get pinned in her final match. Like, that's fine. And Paige can take the pin. Paige is going to be fine no matter what. If they want to, I know that I'm out in the world of fantasy. However, I still know that I can't book Nikki to lose the title at this point because they're going to keep it forever.
Yeah. I think that the thing with AJ, though, I think she really was like struggling with injuries because even in that tag match that they had at
she didn't do much.
Mania, she was barely in the ring.
Yeah. Triple H versus Reigns, Authority out of power once for all if Reigns wins, which he does. Because again, if you want the people to cheer Roman Reigns, the easiest thing to get him to do is be the one to finally get rid of the Authority. And we get Bryan versus Lesnar. Honestly, I don't know who I want to win. Probably Bryan, but I'd be okay with Lesnar retaining.
Here's the thing. It's like, I just don't want that match specifically because I would be terrified for Daniel.
This is also with the benefit of hindsight that we know that Daniel's fine. We know he's fine.
Well,
according to AEW doctors, he's fine. So that is how my Rumble shakes out. I went the extreme opposite, something entirely different. What do you say?
I smoked your ass.
Absolutely
that's what I think.
not.
I
You
think
did
I
the
absolutely
minimum.
cooked you. Your undercard was, you had some very what you did to Seth Rollins needs to be like sent to the gulag. Like that is, you just ruined this man's career pretty much with that decision. Roman Reigns, I understand wanting to push Roman Reigns off another year, but like you also ended the Authority too early because like that's the whole thing is that we built to 2016, which is
revisionist history to say that the Authority ended too early.
No. Here's the thing, though, is that I think that the 2016 Rumble is so great because of that like Authority angle looming over it, and all that, which I need, and I can't have it in your scenario because we ended that.
But the 2016 Rumble can be something entirely new and beautiful. I went full what if. I went like, this is a whole other world that we're in. Yours is just a little different.
No. It's not just a little different. It's not a little different. There's many tweaks. Our WrestleMania main event is now a triple threat, and it becomes a fatal 4-way when Seth Rollins cashes in and breaks stuff. By the way, do you know how much heel heat Rollins is going to get for taking that title away from Bryan? Do you know how much?
Oh,
he's
I
gonna
agree.
be the biggest. He was already the biggest heel in the company. Now he's a mega super duper heel because he just gets to go through and be like, ha ha ha, I beat Daniel Bryan and all this other stuff, and it's great.
Yours is a more realistic depiction.
Mine is better.
I think yours is very good. I think I took the corrections to heart, and I was like, "Let's change everything." You put some fresh
corrections. I
put some fresh paint on the walls.
I made it good.
I tore the fucker down.
Good.
This is all up to the people.
My foundation. I tore down the house. I kept the foundation because the foundation was still good, and I built a new house. That's what I did.
Your house looks like shit. All right, in the comments, tell us who won.
Your house is shit. You got that new construction that is freaking plywood.
Whether you liked my full, entire, brand new what if scenario or Javier's scenario that ends with a fatal 4-way with the Rollins cash in, who do you think had the better card? Who do you think had the better correction? Let us know in the comments and tell us other bad things from history you want us to correct, because we'll go back and we'll fix it. This is our brand new series. We're happy to go back, and guess what? There's lots of historical bad things that have happened in wrestling. We will try to fix some of them in the future. Follow us on YouTube. You should subscribe at Crossbody of Work. We're right here. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Crossbody of Work for all of our stuff. Listen to our podcast as well. We're in the midst of Japanuary. We're about a week away from episode 200. So tons of episodes you can go back and listen to as we cover a wrestler through 5 of their most important matches. Normally, Javi and I, we're best friends. We're not this combative. But when it comes to fantasy booking, gloves are off, baby.
What is this combative? What are you talking about?
Don't lie. We're friends.
Competition is in the air. You and I are sharks in water.
That's right. And that's unfortunate because I cannot swim. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on this first episode of Crossbody Corrections. We'll be back again soon to fix some historical mistakes from wrestling's past. We'll talk to you then.
I won.